Yesterday, probably the biggest creator in Brawl Stars, KairosTime, made this long post which shocked the whole community. In it, he would explain why he was leaving the subreddit after being an active member since the game launched more than 6 years ago. But what has led Kairos to make this kind of decision? Well, let's start from the very beginning. The new Hypercharge update was not the biggest hit with the community. It was heavily criticized by many players. Many were disappointed with the abrupt removal of game modes like Heist and Hot Zone, including myself. The new skins, while all cool, were heavily priced, with most being 149 gems and over. Hypercharges were bashed by the community for being boring, overpriced and overpowered, making the game more pay to win. And finally, we had the change that angered most of the player base: the increased power scaling on brawler levels, which left under-level brawlers with a bigger disadvantage than ever. If all this wasn't enough, the failure of the dev team to revert or partially reverse the resource nerfs of the earlier update, especially the end of season rewards, left most of the players feeling disappointed. Now, while I agree with most of the criticisms shared by the community, and while I myself wasn't a big fan of the update apart from the addition of hypercharges, I do think that the reaction of the player base was totally blown out of proportion. There were many making unfair claims that Brawl Stars made a worse update than Clash Royale, which is totally untrue by the way, and that they are quitting the game because it's trash and that Brawl Stars is now pay to win. Now, in response to all the drama, KairosTime made an extremely well thought out and detailed video giving his honest thoughts on the update and what he felt. It wasn't a matter of right and wrong, true or false. It was just Kairos sharing his views. And Kairos even mentioned many times in the video to avoid attacking him or getting upset over what he said or was going to say. While being an extremely well articulated and fair video, it did not stop his own community from attacking and mocking him for his opinions. Following his video going live, the subreddit was flooded with people raging at Kairos, calling him this and that, all because they disagreed with some of his views. Everyone has their own take. The manner in which most of the players behaved was totally uncalled for and unacceptable. And honestly, that really shone light on how negative this community can be, and frankly, most mobile gaming communities are these days. Following the heavy backlash, it took a few hours for Kairos to make a shock post where he announced he would be leaving the subreddit for good. This really did showcase just how many of us criticize and blame for no reason, to the point where Brawl Stars' biggest creator has actually given up on his own community. Well, thankfully, KairosTime has not actually quit. As a part of the Brawl Stars community, I think it's fair to say that we have done a very bad job with treating one of the biggest creators in the community and that we can do much better.